News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Eagerly anticipating the State of the State address tonight. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Tuesday, January 24th, 2017. Cloudy sky. We've got 19 degrees in Missoula right now. Maybe a light dusting of snow, making the roads just a little bit more snow-covered than they were at the end of the day yesterday. Our newscast this morning, sponsored by Big Sky Breakout, the live interactive escape room experience. You and your team are locked in a themed room for an hour. Big Sky Breakout located at 307 North 2nd Street West. Governor Steve Bullock is scheduled to present his State of the State address tonight. Bullock will deliver the speech in the chambers of the Montana House of Representatives, which is currently run by Republicans. House Majority Leader Ron Ely, on talkback yesterday, says his party will be listening intently to the governor's speech.
We're anxious to see what the governor's got to say and how he portrays the state of the state. That's always the question, what he has to say about where he thinks we are. And I'm pretty certain that the Republicans are going to come out with a little different statement. Again, to be a big surprise that we're not going to agree with the direction that the state is headed.
The legislative session so far has been marked by tough decisions over a tight budget. Eli says he's curious as to how the governor will frame the issue.
We're going to be asking the questions, how did we get to where we are? How do we end up with this crisis of management that we feel we have in the state budget? And so we're anxious to see what the governor says and how he portrays the plan to the people of Montana, and we'll respond accordingly.
Bullock's State of the State address is scheduled to run between 7 and 9 o'clock this evening, followed immediately by the Republican response. Of course, we'll have various cuts from that speech and the responses tomorrow. Montana staying with the theme of politics. Montana State Legislator Amanda Curtis is attempting to run for the U.S. House seat that's currently held by Congressman Ryan Zinke. Curtis is running as a Democrat and announced her campaign through an online video during the Women's March Saturday, in which she compared herself to two famous Republicans, including Montana's own Jeanette Rankin.
Several women have told me that in this political climate, they just don't think a woman can win a congressional race in Montana. In the spirit of Jeanette Rankin, I refuse to believe that. Over 100 years ago, Montana was progressive enough to elect her, and no one can tell me that we have regressed over 100 years.
Curiously, Curtis opened her announcement with a long list of areas in which she agreed with President Donald Trump.
President Trump won Montana by a lot. He won Montana because he promised to do the things that I've been talking about for the last 4 years. We agree that America needs to save Social Security. We agree that America needs to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure, create jobs, and keep our country safe.
Curtis is a pro at running quick campaigns. If you remember, she ran against Steve Daines at the last minute in 2014 after interim Senator John Walsh left the campaign over a plagiarism scandal. Democrat Party delegates could decide on a candidate by next Sunday at the earliest. Curtis is running against Mission Mountain Woodman musician Rob Quist in the Democratic primary. State lawmakers heard testimony on a bill that would make it a felony to assault a healthcare worker or emergency responder. Supporters of House Bill 268, including many nurses, argued that the enhanced penalties of a felony charge could deter assaults they have suffered at the hands of patients who often are never prosecuted. The newspapers of Montana reports opponents raised concerns the law could be applied to people with mental health issues or others with diminished capacities. The legislation for an assault to fall into this proposed law, the person must be, quote, acting purposely and knowingly. House Judiciary Committee did not act on that bill. 20-year-old Cameron Ward's in the Missoula County Jail for allegedly attacking another man with a knife. Deputy Missoula County Attorney Amber Henning asked Judge Marie Anderson for $20,000 bail.
The defendant is alleged to have pulled a 12-inch folding knife on a man in the parking lot of Cash One Pawn and having swung at the victim several times. The defendant was also carrying a can of Steel Reserve and smelled of alcohol.
Henning outlined Ward's criminal history as a continued argument for high bail.
The defendant has a conviction of malicious mischief out of Washington and has a warrant out of Arizona for failing to appear. He was attempting to travel back to Arizona at the time of this offense and presents a flight risk as well as a danger to the community.
Judge Anderson agreed, set bail at $20,000. His next court appearance is February 6th. Missoula police arrested 40-year-old Shannon Gross over the weekend after two separate pharmacies in town called in about a fraudulent prescription. Police Public Information Officer Travis Welsh said the first call came in about 3:15 on Sunday from a pharmacy in the 100 block of East Broadway.
We had a report of an adult female who was attempting to obtain prescription-level narcotics with what appeared to be a fraudulent prescription. The prescription was filled for the woman. However, it was after that the employees were getting indications that it was a fictitious prescription, and they called 911.
By the time police reached that first location, Gross was already trying to get the same prescription filled under a different name at a different pharmacy.
As the officers were interviewing employees at the original pharmacy, there was another call to 911 of a woman at a pharmacy on North Reserve Street. The officers did respond to that location and make contact with the woman who was still there upon their arrival. When the officers made contact with her, they also found that she was in possession of other illegal drugs.
Gross was attempting to get prescription painkillers, but police discovered she had an array of non-prescription drugs on her person as well. The Senate, she'll be seen in Justice Court today, by the way. The Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee has postponed a meeting that had been scheduled for today to vote on the nominations of Ryan Zinke and Rick Perry to head the Departments of Interior and Energy. No reason was given for the delay, although the Senate is a shortened work week because of a Republican retreat in Philadelphia later this week. Only 3 of President Donald Trump's cabinet nominees have been confirmed so far, although Secretary of State designate Rex Tillerson has been approved by the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. No mention of the postponement of a vote appeared on the committee's website. There have been no particular controversies through the pair's hearings so far, although Perry did retract his campaign statement, saying he wanted to abolish the Energy Department. That's the department he is being asked to head. Finally, forest managers in western Wyoming are reporting some skiers and snowboarders are illegally making tracks in winter range closed to protect wildlife. The winter habitat closures are designed to protect wildlife. Animals use those areas to conserve energy and survive a long, harsh winter in the Rockies. Heavy snowfall has pushed the animals to the valley floor, which is why there have been so many wildlife encounters in the towns nearby. Our news talk time now is 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Patchy areas of freezing fog this morning, otherwise mostly cloudy skies for the day ahead with a chance of light snow. Accumulations should stay under half an inch. Daytime highs will be in the mid to upper 20s. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for Missoula's KECI 13.